And one hot summer night in July, he was sitting out in the front porch. This is probably 1952 or so. And I was only just a young boy, just barely going to school. And I wasn't up at night. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And he said that he witnessed this huge, Victor, UFO, green, almost fluorescent colored green, come and hover over the house across the street. And he said it was just as big as the house, and just above the house, about 35 or 40 feet across the street from him, above the house. And he said he could have thrown a brick at it. And it just went out, just went, it stayed there for maybe 30 seconds and it was gone. And that's a long time to witness that thing. And have your father tell you a story like that was pretty incredible. And it really was a very important part of my life. And
so you come by it honestly.
Yes, you're right, yeah. It was, have your father tell you a story like that. It's not a tall tale, and it was something he experienced.
How old were you when he told you that story?
Well, I was born in 48, so I think it was 52 when it happened, so I was about 4 years old.
He told you when you were 4 years old? Do you remember him telling you that?
Oh, yeah. He said I'd heard my mom and him talking about the morning after. And then several years later, he repeated the story to me again. He said I was sitting on the front porch, and it was a really hot night, and then this thing came, and I remember them talking about it in the kitchen the next morning. You know, it was hot. It was one of the really blistering hot summer evenings, and it was very humid, and he had very clear recollections of it.
So, I mean, that obviously, something like that, you don't forget. So that stayed with you throughout your adult life, and would you attribute that conversation with your dad setting you on this path?
Well, I think the seed was planted at the time, and I guess you have to wait a certain number of years before that seed germinates and becomes real, and maybe you need other catalysts in your life to bring that seed to some sort of fruition. But he definitely did plant the first ideas in my mind about what went on. And I guess the books that I read in the early 70s began that whole process of the compelling nature of this issue. It spurred me on.
Well, Mr. Vigiani Sr., wherever you are, Ernesto Vigiani.
Yes.
I owe you thanks, because had you not seen that UFO and pass that on to Victor, Victor never would have probably charted on this course, and I never would have made his acquaintance, and here we are.
Right.
You see how things are interconnected, and I never met your father, but I wish I had. There you go. All right, we're going to check in with Stephen Bassett here in just a few moments. Stephen always got something on the go. He is arguably, wouldn't you say, Victor, the leading advocate for ending the UFO truth embargo? Certainly in the United States.
For sure. He's probably the leading advocate in a public forum, in a public format. And Stephen makes his presence felt very, very strongly in the political scene right across the United States in many different ways. He ran for office, my goodness, I guess it was in just after the year 2000 or so. He ran for public office in the Washington area. It wasn't a successful venture, but he made himself well known on that front. So Stephen is one who gets his face right into the scene very quickly, and people in Washington know what Stephen Bassett stands for in terms of disclosure.
And of course, he organizes the annual X Conference event, which was held the last couple of years at the Press Club, National Press Club in Washington. And now, when he joins us just after the break, he'll tell us about his latest initiative, which is the Disclosure Petition. And he is campaigning to organize a petition to petition the President of the United States to get a formal acknowledgement of the extraterrestrial presence here on Earth. So we'll talk to Stephen about that a little bit later in the show. Around midnight, Jerry Leonard. I met Jerry down in Charlotte, North Carolina for an upcoming episode of a TV show, which, by the way, is Wednesday the 28th it debuts, so just a few days away. 3 days and counting. 3 days almost exactly. Wednesday the 28th, and that kicks off at 11 p.m. on Vision TV. Check your local listings. It's on Channel 60 if you're on Rogers, but if you're on Bell, it's somewhere else if you're on Shaw. And the first episode is on Roswell, the UFO crash, and Victor Vigiani, you figure prominently in that episode.
I'm
before we take a time out here, let me also mention we've launched a new website for the TV show, theconspiracyshow.com. It's been out there, but we've reformatted it, and I'm very pleased with the way it looks. And from now on, whenever I want to refer you to the radio show here on AM 740, I'll give you the website, theconspiracyshow.com, because you can get to the radio show website from there as well. Theconspiracyshow.com. I hope you'll check it out. All the upcoming episodes of the TV show are there, and the contributors and so forth. So have a look at that, and I look forward to your feedback. One more thing before we go. I recently heard from a woman out in Oakville Way. She's a chef working at a culinary school, and she tells me that I have a young fan named Vanessa Green. If you're listening, and I'm told that she listens faithfully every Sunday, and she has, imagine, a 16-year-old who knows about AM radio. My gosh, call the folks at Guinness, because this is a rarity, but we're delighted to have a 16-year-old fan, or she's turning 16, I think, in a couple of days. So Vanessa Green, first of all, happy birthday. 16 is a huge milestone, so congratulations. And I understand that you've got a number of friends also that listen to the show Sunday nights, and then you, I guess, I don't know, over lunch at the school, maybe you talk about what you heard on the show. I tell you what we're going to do, Vanessa, because 16th is such a big deal, and you're such a big fan of the show, I'm going to give you a special backstage pass. I want you to come in and sit in on the radio show next Sunday. That's October the 2nd. You can bring Mom and Dad and maybe a couple of, yes, she'll be sitting in your chair, right, where Victor Vigiani is.
Boy, what an exciting offer, my goodness.
So Vanessa, if you're listening, I hope you're good for that, because I'd love to have you come in. We'll wish you a happy birthday in person, and have a few goodies here for you. And, of course, your Mom and Dad are most welcome. And if you've got maybe a brother and a best friend that are also interested in listening to the program, come on in, and we'll allow you to listen to the show. We'll get you on air. Maybe we'll get some comments on what you think of it. We'll do a little panel discussion on what you've heard. So we'll do that next Sunday, October the 2nd.
And if you want, Vanessa, I could call the principal of your school to tell him that you might be late on Monday morning.
You would have some pull.
I have some pull, yes.
As a former principal of the Toronto School Board.
I could do that, yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Wow. All right. So, Vanessa Green, thank you so much for listening to this show. It's great to know that I have a young, bright mind out there staying up late on a school night, nonetheless. But so a happy birthday to you, and I look forward to meeting you next Sunday. All right, we'll come back and meet Stephen Bassett, who's no stranger to the program, and we'll learn all about the disclosure petition. Back with more here on AM 740. You're sitting there in the Oval Office, and your secretary, or the chief of staff, wanders in and plops down a sheet of papers. It's about the thickness of the New York City telephone directory. And affixed to this huge pile of papers is this. We, the undersigned, strongly urge the President of the United States to formally acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race and immediately release into the public domain all files from all agencies and military services relevant to this phenomenon. Imagine if that petition was signed by millions of Americans. You think that would have any impact? I would think so. Here to tell us more about the disclosure petition is a leading advocate for ending the 64-year government-imposed truth embargo regarding an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race. He's a political activist, lobbyist, commentator, the executive director of the Paradigm Research Group and the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee, and the founder and organizer of the annual X Conference in Washington. Always a pleasure to have Stephen Bassett here on The Conspiracy Show. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, great to be with you.
Victor Vigiani, of course, in studio as well. Say hello to Victor.
Of course. Yeah.
All right.
Guess where I'm at? Guess where I'm at?
Let me see. Standing outside 1600 Pennsylvania? I don't know.
I'm in Hollywood right now, at Hollywood and Vine, which is on the Walk of Fame, right down in the middle of the old center of activity here. And the reason I'm here is there's a concert tonight that I'll be going to right after the show, and it's called the Disclosure Concert. And it's part of a 3D music film festival. It's been going on for 4 days, put on by the Dream Factory here. They're showing 3D film all day long. I got to see Green Lantern last night. Pretty cool. Definitely very cool graphics and special effects. And they're also having a lot of music acts, but tonight is there's a concert, a number of bands are playing, but it is a disclosure conference. It is a fundraiser for Dr. Stephen Greer's Disclosure Project.
Wow.
The reason for this is because the Dream Factory's owner, head guy, is named Chris Crescitelli, and he has been supporting the disclosure movement for years, going way back, and I'm really connected to Dr. Greer. So it's the first disclosure concert ever. It's in the center of Hollywood, back near some of the most famous landmarks here, Knickerbocker Hotel, Hollywood and Vine. And Greer's going to talk, and there'll be some other discussions and a lot of music. It's been promoted all over town. I say this just to give you a sense that, some people think, is anything happening? Is it going anywhere? Is this moving forward, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And let me tell you, this is the kind of thing that is happening, and you're going to see more of this as more young people get involved, as more celebrities get involved. So disclosure, again, is on its way, folks. And this is just one more kind of idea, one more concept that points to that. So I'll be in that concert here after we get done.
And there have been through the years a number of prominent members of the artistic community, particularly within the field of rock and roll. I'm thinking of guys like Sammy Hagar, who's a well-known sort of a disclosure advocate and someone who's had a UFO encounter. Of course, the late John Lennon, I believe David Bowie. So it's time for these people to start coming forward and talking about these things.
Well, I think that's going to happen. Actually, Hagar is more than just that. Hagar said in his autobiography, which is the first time he really got connected to this issue,